Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mrs. Avila presenting your lesson for Wednesday, May 6th. And today's meme, imagine being less intelligent than a pigeon. If you've been able to go to any stores, a lot of places are marking every 6 feet because we're supposed to stay 6 feet apart. And this meme is making fun because um, they've put circles every 6 feet for people to space out here. And there's a pigeon in a circle waiting in line. And then it has another person that is not following the spacing rules and is not in their circle. So just kind of making fun of that. Okay, so today's lesson is titled Human Activity and Climate, Day 1. We had to break this lesson into 2 days. Our essential question for today is, why are carbon dioxide and methane increasing in the atmosphere? So today you're going to watch the Screencastify video, this video going through the lesson, and you're going to follow along on the lesson 3.1 day 1 student document. And that is it. You'll notice that it says follow along. You do not have to submit this document. It's for your benefit. You will need to have your Screencastify video and the lesson 3.1 day 1 student document open. Like I said, you do not have to turn in the lesson 3.1 day 1 student document, but please watch the video and go through the lesson. It is important information for you to know for the final project and for you as a member of society to know, as we're talking about climate change here. Okay, so going to today's document, it looks like this. So I already read our essential question, why are carbon dioxide and methane increasing in the atmosphere? Before we get started, make sure you have this document open and the daily video. Chapter overview. Now you understand how increased carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere can lead to a warmer Earth. Next, you'll explore how humans affect the amount of these gases in the atmosphere and what we can do to try to reduce global warming. So lesson 3.1 is about investigating human activity in the atmosphere. The head climatologist is calling on you for assistance with another investigation. This investigation is focused on human activities and how they might be impacting the atmosphere. You will use the sim, actually I'll be showing you the sim, and you will evaluate evidence using the evidence gradient as you discover how human activities are affecting Earth. So remember that our unit question is what causes climate change? Our Chapter 3 question is new. It is what can be done to stop the carbon dioxide and methane in Earth's atmosphere from increasing. We have received an email from Dr. Lee again from the World Climate Institute. Let's read it. So remember that with Amplify, they kind of have us pretend that we are student climatologists and we are helping people from the fictional institute, the World Climate Institute trying to help them figure out some things. So your models and explanations of how increasing carbon dioxide and methane are causing temperatures to increase and ice to melt are being posted on the World Climate Institute website. Thank you for your contribution. For your next project, I'd like you to research a new question. What can be done to stop the increase of carbon dioxide and methane? Now that WCI has provided clear explanations of the problem, we'd like to focus on possible and worthwhile solutions. Once again, we'll be sharing this information with the public so they understand how they can help our planet. From Dr. Irene Lee, head climatologist, World Climate Institute. So we will investigate ways to stop the increase of carbon dioxide and methane in this chapter. But before we do that, we need to understand why they are increasing in the first place. Today, we will answer the question, why are carbon dioxide and methane increasing in the atmosphere? Human activities refers to things people do that affect the Earth system. Today, we'll investigate whether human activities are changing the atmosphere. I'm going to introduce human activities mode in the Earth's changing climate simulation and connect it to the investigation question. Let's take a look at the different things in the human activities mode in the sim. Population. This slider changes the number of people on Earth. Right now, there are about 7 billion people living on Earth. Combustion per person. This slider represents the average amount of combustion from each person on Earth. Combustion includes engines, which can come from cars, buses, anything like that, and the way most electrical energy is produced. The video in the next activity will go into more depth about combustion. The medium setting in the sim models the current level of combustion so far. We also have here human fingerprints are all over our climate. You can take a look at that. You can pause it and look at that if you like. Okay, so we're going to be looking at population, combustion per person. We're going to be looking at livestock per person. Livestock are farm animals that humans raise and use, such as cows and sheep, and this represents the average number of these animals for each person on Earth. The animals are raised for meat, milk, wool, and more. The medium setting in the sim models the current average amount of livestock per person. All right, so I'm kind of going over a lot of info. Let me show you what they're talking about before I continue. I'm going to load human activities mode. So population, we can adjust. Right now it's set at 7 billion. We're at 7 billion people right now, so we'll leave that there. Combustion per person, medium represents the average amount of combustion for people on Earth right now. So medium. Livestock per person, we discussed that. Medium represents the average amount of livestock per person at this time. Forest cover, this represents how much of the Earth's land is covered by forest. The low setting in the sim models the current amount of forest. So forest, where it is right now, represents the amount of forest on the Earth right now, current amount of forest. Gas capture. Technologies are being developed to trap gases as they are released from factories or other sources. These technologies are just beginning to be used. The low setting models the current amount of gas capture. So where it is on low, that represents the current amount of gas capture that is going on right now. So here's a screenshot of the sim. I will now switch to the sim so that we can run it and answer the information below. For each of the sim runs below, we will make observations from the graph created after I stop the sim. So for part 1, carbon dioxide investigation, we are going to investigate how changes to population and combustion per person affect the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. I will be running the sim here in the video for you to see. You do not need to log in and amplify. I'm showing you what you need here. So I'm already in human activities mode. I'm going to open the graph by pressing the graph icon on the lower left corner and select carbon dioxide. Get rid of that. And I want to show carbon dioxide. So I'm going to run this with no change for the first 30 seconds. I'm going to speed it up to 4 times the normal speed so that you guys, I'm not wasting time. So we're going to let it run for until the time reaches 30. And then we're going to pause and record our observations. Well, actually, you guys don't have to record today. You are simply paying attention. So I'm going to press play here. Let's see if I can stop it at 30 seconds at that point. All All right, got to about 31. So you'll see that the trend, as is right now, is seeing an increase of the amount of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere. Okay, so I did not change population. I let it run as is. So with no changed population, carbon dioxide increased. You can see this graph looks like what we just saw on the one I just ran. All right. So now we're going to decrease population to the lowest setting. And I'm going to let it run for another 30 seconds. So combustion, lowest setting, decrease population to the lowest setting, population. And I'm going to press play, and I'm going to let it run till about where it reaches 60 for time. Okay, pause it right there. So you will see that kind of flatlined and decreased a little, flatlined, decreased a little bit more. So when I decreased population, carbon dioxide leveled off and then started to decrease. Kind of, that's the same pattern we had on ours. So next, I'm going to increase population to the highest setting, and I'm going to let it run for 30 seconds. So highest setting would be about 12 billion people. I'm going to let it run for 30 seconds. This is more people on Earth. What's going to happen to the carbon dioxide? And you saw here, I didn't quite stop it at 90 seconds, but it would be this steep increase here. So our answer would be that when I increased population, carbon dioxide started increasing very steeply. It shot right up. All right. So with the population that it is now, the carbon dioxide is going to increase. If the entire human population was wiped out somehow, that carbon dioxide would level off and then start to decrease. If we have a population boom, if populations across the world really increase, the carbon dioxide would increase very quickly and rapidly. All right, so the next one, I'm going to test combustion. So I'm going to reset my sim to human activities. Yes. I'm leaving population alone now. When I do change something, I'm going to change combustion per person here. But first, I'm going to let it run with no changes for 30 seconds. And I'm going to pull up my graph. I don't want temperature. I want to look at carbon dioxide. I'm going to let it play for 30 seconds. Oh, stopped it at 32. But you see, as is, the carbon dioxide is increasing. There's a trend of an upward trend where it is increasing. And so we had put with no change to combustion, carbon dioxide increased. So now I'm going to decrease combustion to the lowest setting. Let's say that we decided as an entire world, no more combustion engines, no more cars, no more buses, no more power plants that are using combustion engines to create electricity. We get rid of all of that. So we're going to put it to its lowest setting and let it play for 30 seconds and see what happens. Stop. All right. So let's look at this. We see that it's decreasing until it kind of flatlines. So we had said when I decreased combustion, carbon dioxide leveled off and then started to decrease. Kind of goes through these periods of level off, decrease, level off, decrease, level off. Right, the next one we're going to do, you should see a pattern, is increase it to its highest setting. So now I'm going to increase combustion. This is everyone is given 2 free cars and we're driving everywhere just to go check our mail. We're going for a drive. So if we increase combustion per person, let it play for 30 seconds. You see it steeply increasing. Now this is carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Oh, I already passed 90 seconds. This is carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. You would see it sharply increasing. We put our answer as when I increased combustion, carbon dioxide started increasing very steeply. All right, so human population affects carbon dioxide. Combustion engines affect carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now we're going to talk about methane. So now we are going to investigate how changes to population and livestock per person affect the amount of methane in the atmosphere. In the sim, we're going to select human activities mode again and go through this again, except now we're going to focus on methane. So population testing for methane, we're first going to run it with no change. So I go to human activities. Yes, I reload. I'm going to set my time at ×4. I'm going to leave everything alone on my sliders. I'm going to change my graph to focus on methane. So I'm going to press play and let it play for 30 seconds. This is if we're just going to continue on like normal. This is normal for us. Okay, so focusing on methane, which is another greenhouse gas, you see that there is a trend, an upward trend, not as steep as maybe some of the ones we saw for carbon dioxide, but this is with no changes. So we had put our answer, 6th grade science teachers, as with no change to population, methane increased. Now we're going to set population to the lowest setting, run it until the time reaches 60, and let's see what happens. So we're going to increase population. No, wait, I thought lowest setting, yeah. We're going to decrease population all the way to 1. This is most of the human race has been wiped out. And what would happen to the methane in the atmosphere? Stop it at 60 seconds or just about. So again, we see these leveling out periods. Levels off, decreases a little, levels off. Actually have a little bit of an increase here, then a decrease and level off. So overall, it would level off and then decrease. Methane leveled off and then started to decrease. So now we're going to increase population now and let it run. So this is instead of people being wiped out, everybody has more children than the current rate. Instead of, they say families have like 2.3 kids, meaning families either have 2 or 3 kids, between 2 and 3 kids. Instead of that, everybody's having 6 kids. So the population increases. So I'm going to press play. Population increases. What would happen to the methane? And pause it. You'll see that the methane has steeply increased. When I increased population, methane increased pretty steeply. All right, livestock per person. Going to go through the same things, reset the sim. This is why you guys don't have to do much today because it was running the sim 12 times and we didn't want to give you guys too much work. We decided not to even have you have to write the notes. We gave you everyone hard copy. Okay, so I set my timer at 4. I pulled up my graph. I'm focusing on methane. I'm going to run it as normal. This is basically changing nothing. Everything is as it is now. Kind of gives you an idea of our trajectory right now. So the methane would steadily increase. Now I am going to, let me go in here, and we had said with no change to livestock per person, methane increased. So now we're going to decrease livestock per person. This is everybody in the world becomes a vegetarian. So I'm going to set it to its lowest setting and press play. I'm going to let this play for 30 seconds. Stop. All right, so you see the change here. Methane decreased. There's a downward trend. So if everybody became a vegetarian, methane would have leveled off and then started to decrease. So now we're going to go do the opposite of that. And what if we increase livestock per person? Instead of everybody becoming a vegetarian, we convert all the vegetarians to consuming meat, and we eat meat all the time. Average amount of meat consumed by people increases. Now remember, these are averages and not trying to change what anybody thinks in any way. Okay, so Sim has reached maximum carbon dioxide. I'm not looking at carbon dioxide right now. Okay, pause here. So if livestock per person increases, we see that the methane would steadily increase. Okay, so that would be when I increase livestock per person, methane increased. Tomorrow we will continue with this investigation, looking at how humans contribute to the increase of carbon dioxide and methane. There isn't anything to turn in, but you have been given a copy of this for your review and to use if needed. All right, so that's it for today. Have a good day, and talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.